You know which GTA character has a balanced life and a great sense of self? Michael DeSanta from GTA 5.
You fucking motherfucker! Fuck you! What the fuck? Enough of that shit! Fuck you!
Okay, maybe not. Michael's life in GTA 5 is a complete mess, and whether he's faking his own death, robbing jewelry stores, kidnapping movie stars, or taking yoga classes, when you boil it all down, he's really just searching for the meaning of life. Despite the fact that we probably don't respond to existentialism in the same way as Michael, we're likely all looking for that same meaning as well. And when you really look into Michael's character arc, the progression of absurdity, and the methods by which he chooses to address his midlife crisis, by the end of it all, he might have actually found the answer. Now that might all sound as absurd as something you might hear after you stumbled into a crazy blunt rotation at a grad school party. But seriously, bear with me. Because as Albert Camus put it, man feels within him a longing for happiness and for reason. The absurd is born of this confrontation between the human need and the unreasonable silence of the world. So by making an absurd video about existentialism in Grand Theft Auto, I might be finding a cathartic way to discover my own meaning in life. And maybe by watching this, so are you. Or maybe none of this matters and I'm just gonna yap into the camera for a little bit. Either way, let's get into it. We know Michael DeSanta is one of the three main protagonists from GTA 5. After setting his crew up to take a fall in North Yankton and faking his own death, Michael finds himself in Los Santos, retired and surrounded by everything he could ever want in life, except he doesn't know if he wants any of it, he's miserable, and he's spiritually bankrupt. His family hates him, and the only way he manages to mitigate his overflowing cortisone levels is by watching old movies, smoking cigars, and blasting Phil Collins by the pool. Who can relate? Michael embodies the hollow rewards of the American dream. He drowns in the capitalistic fantasy of owning a lot of stuff, yet most of it goes unused. And he expresses his love and admiration for his family by surrounding them with shiny objects too, which really just spreads his late-stage capitalistic despair like some kind of contagious vapid disease. If we asked our friend Jean-Paul Sartre what Michael's problem really was, he'd probably say he's living his life in bad faith, lying to himself about who he is and pretending he has no choice but to live out a role he secretly despises. Michael isn't happy not because he lacks wealth or success, but because he's surrendered his freedom by clinging to the identity of a family man or a retired criminal rather than confronting the anxiety of true self-definition. This illusion briefly collapses when he incurs a debt to Martin Madrazo, which gives him permission to return to crime under the guise of necessity. For a moment, he finds real joy, not because he's after money or revenge, but because he's finally doing something he chooses, even if that choice is dangerously self-destructive. This identity crisis isn't just philosophical, it's represented in the game itself. In the mission Dead Man Walking, Michael wakes up in a morgue surrounded by corpses after being officially declared dead. He literally has to crawl out of bureaucracy just to prove he's still alive. The mission itself is a symbolic representation of Michael's entire character arc. Not only does he fake his death in the game's story, but he experiences a spiritual death by indulging in a life of materialism. Then he must crawl out of that space to find himself again and feel alive. It's in this moment that his illusion of retirement crumbles around him and he finally has to confront the thing that he's been avoiding this entire time, himself. Yet, Michael can't remain in a constant state of committing crimes, trapping himself in a loop where he tries to reclaim his authenticity, but never truly can. He's split between the identities of the family man and the criminal and struggles with the meaning behind his criminal actions when it no longer stems from necessity and instead only temporarily remedies his existential boredom and craving for meaning. He's constantly in therapy, constantly trying to articulate why he feels so numb or angry or detached, but he never quite lands on an answer. That's the heart of his existential crisis. He's aware enough to know something is wrong, but not self-aware enough to fix it. He talks like a man who's seen the top of the mountain and realized it was a billboard. And once you see that, how do you unsee it? This kind of existential unraveling is eerily similar to my favorite television character, Tony Soprano. Both men live double lives. Michael as a retired thief turned suburban dad, Tony as a mob boss trying to be a family man, and both spend a ton of time in therapy trying to articulate why they feel hollow. They lash out, drift through life numbly, and use violence and nostalgia to distract the deep spiritual rot they refuse to name. They know something's broken, but they'd rather rationalize it than change. They sit on leather couches talking about their problems while actively avoiding the one that might actually address the situation, accountability. And by sitting through these therapy sessions, they're able to trick themselves into thinking they're actually addressing the problem when it's really just performative. only to go back into the world and behave the exact same way. They're both deeply aware that something inside them is broken, but therapy becomes another way to manage the dysfunction, not resolve it. They talk about their emotions, their pasts, their failures, but as soon as they walk out that door, nothing changes. The violence continues, the lies persist. It's self-awareness without accountability and introspection without action. In the end, they don't go to therapy to heal, they go to maintain the illusion that they're trying. Even Dr. Friedlander, Michael's therapist, becomes a mirror of the world he's trying to escape. He's a self-help brand disguised as a human, more interested in stretching out the session than actually solving anything. In one ending, he literally flees the city to cash in on a book he wrote about Michael's sessions. Therapy becomes less about healing and more about monetizing trauma. Just like Vinewood, just like crime, everything in Michael's world is for sale, even self-healing. Tragically, Michael's story can be directly related to Kierkegaard's Sickness Until Death, an exploration of how the human soul becomes sick by pursuing an identity that is intrinsically disproportionate from that which would lead to happiness. As Kierkegaard writes, the greatest hazard of all, losing oneself, can occur very quietly in the world, as if it were nothing at all. It boils down to this really slow, sad, depressing attempt to find happiness, while simultaneously avoiding or straight up ignoring the things that actually would make us happy. Here's an example. If my phone wasn't giving me constant dopamine by scrolling through Instagram and watching random YouTube videos and TikToks or whatever, I probably would be a lot happier and wouldn't have like this crazy dopamine overdose all the time. Also, I don't want to delete my social media, so I guess I'm just While Michael's hopeless loop of crime, capitalism, and dysfunctional family life might feel like an overemphasis, this is undoubtedly a real-world struggle that millions of people, including myself at times, have dealt with. And in case this is getting kind of depressing, don't worry, there's hope. And that hope is, it's never too late to find yourself. Later in the story of GTA 5, Michael starts becoming involved in the Vinewood film industry, directly connecting to a longtime passion of his. Sure, this is initially linked to his criminal addiction, but the story alludes to a future where there may be more long-term opportunity for Michael to be involved in movie making, perhaps as an executive or a producer. Kierkegaard would argue that real freedom begins when we actually acknowledge our despair. Not to wallow in it, but to push through it. For Michael, that means recognizing that his past doesn't define him unless he lets it. True authenticity doesn't mean starting over. It means acknowledging your past, acknowledging the things that have held you back, and making the conscious decision to move forward and move through them. The film studio for Michael isn't just a business opportunity, it's a metaphor for authorship. Will Michael keep acting out a role written for him by society, or will he start writing his own script? This could serve as a Kierkegaardian turning point for Michael, but only if he can confront himself honestly and explore the opportunity as a true creative expression of his own self.
Anyway, shut up and take a look at that.
Oh. Fucking A.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Feels like I've finally done something with my life. Actually done something.
If, however, he exploits the opportunity as further escape from the existentialism that plagues his daily life, only finding momentary pleasure in the work and not true expression and fulfillment, then he might not be all that much further than he was to begin with. But just like Michael, there's hope for everybody to escape their past, align their goals with their true identity. Sure, maybe it's cliche, but there's always opportunity to pursue a new passion. You can confront your past without being defined by it and exchange societal facades for real, genuine, and meaning. For example, before I started this channel, I worked at a media conglomerate in digital media for almost 6 years. I never really wanted to put myself out there, and now I'm doing it and I'm enjoying it and I'm having fun. I'm actually getting some views and I'm actually pursuing a passion of mine, be it, YouTube, GTA, just self-production and self-employment. And while I'm not necessarily making a lot of money yet, or, making half as much as I was previously, I'm having a good time. And that's similar to what Michael's trying to accomplish by getting into the movie industry, doing something that aligns with our identity, doing something that we actually want to do and not just something that we think society tells us we should do, like working a 9-to-5 that makes us miserable. But hey, if a maniac like Michael DeSanta can see a glimpse of it happening, then maybe all of us can too. And that's all I got in today's episode, guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it big time. Really love to see this channel growing. Appreciate it if you can subscribe, like, leave a comment. It means a lot. This is Mike, GTA Analysis. Catch you next time.